Good morning and welcome to the show. It's Wednesday.
Yes.
And we've got Vonda, the coupon queen, Vonda Gaynor. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Don.
We are all eager to hear some money-saving tips
Yes.
and maybe some reviews of local places where we can get some bargains.
Yes, sir. Well, today I want to talk about different signage that shoppers see when we go into the store.
Okay.
So, the first one being 10 for $10 items. A lot of people think because it says 10 items for $10, you have to buy 10. You do not. If you want to buy 3, you're only going to pay $3. So, and some places, but not here, sometimes that is a requirement. But if you don't need 10 items, don't buy them.
Okay.
So the next one is the term BOGO, buy one, get one free.
Right.
In Florida is a different state. A lot of people don't need 2 items. They don't need, even if it's buy one, get one free. Typically, the price is going to be slightly inflated. For instance, bread. Bread is very, very expensive now. So when people see buy one, get one free, and they're like, but I don't need 2 loaves of bread, you know, it's going to go bad. Well, in Florida is a true BOGO state, meaning
You have to get them?
No, it's not going to ring it up half price. If it's 2 loaves of bread for $4, it's going to ring up one for $4, and that's what you're going to pay.
Oh, my.
Exactly.
So it's not a $2 loaf of bread. You have to get the 2.
You're better off getting 2 or not getting that deal. Just because it says buy one, get one free does not mean it's always the best deal.
And that's by law. That's amazing.
Yes.
Some politicians sat up late at night dreaming that one up.
Dreaming that one up.
Because buy one, get one free would, you know, if you get 2 for $4, you think one would be 2.
2, no, not here, not in Florida.
Wow.
It's going to ring up.
So be very careful
Be
with
very,
the BOGOs.
very careful. Yes, because that can add up really, really quickly. And then you're like, well, where did my money go?
Yeah.
So buy one, get one free deals in the state of Florida are not always the best way to
And
go.
your typical consumer would not discover this until they get to the register.
Exactly.
And they're like, whoa, $4 loaf of bread? And they'll be
Exactly.
like, well, yeah, buy one, get one. You got to get 2.
Yes, but nope. And the other thing I want the viewers to know, do not be scared to talk to the employees in stores. We all know that fresh produce and meats are very expensive. If you want bananas and they're bruised, don't be scared to ask them to mark it down.
Right.
Guess what? 95% of the time, they will, especially at Winn-Dixie. They want the sale, and they want to keep the customers happy.
Isn't
so
it funny?
don't be scared.
Isn't it funny you should say this? Because Karen and I were in Winn-Dixie just a couple days ago, and every item she picked up, she was like, Vonda would be proud of me. And I was like, Vonda would be proud of this deal. I was like, oh, Jay. So you have a fan.
She knows.
She does know. And you know, we usually shop Publix, and we get some deals there as well. But now we're starting to shop all over. Not
Yes.
Because people, you're a creature of habit.
That's true.
If you like the commissary, if you like Publix, you go there all the time for
Right.
everything. But if you just kind of mix it up a little bit,
Yes.
you know where the deals are at. Not be such a creature of habit. Don't be so set in your ways.
Yes.
You know, and then the same thing with the produce. One's bruised, big deal. You know, I'll take it. You know, but grab someone and say, hey, there's a bruised banana here.
Exactly. Can you mark it down? And I'm telling you, it works. It works. It's your money.
Yeah, your money's not bruised. Your money's perfect.
And they're gonna
those dollar bills look like dollar bills.
Exactly.
They don't bruise, so you might as well get a little discount on it.
Yes.
Get your money's worth.
That's true.
Vonda Gaynor, the Coupon Queen. We can find you on Facebook.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Just look for Vonda Gaynor, the Coupon Queen, and we'll get some money-saving tips there as well. Besides watching you on Wednesday mornings. Thanks so much for everything you do to help our families keep in their budget and shop smartly.
Thank you, Don.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Dan Hines from Hines Coaching. And Dan, thanks so much for coming back on the show. I know you come on every week now and you give us these great tips on your family budget. It's a zero-sum game in most families.
A lot of times, yeah.
You know, you've got an income, maybe your wife has an income, and you've got to make it all work.
That's true. You got to make those ends meet.
Now, people have relationships.
Yes.
Not only between husband, wife, girlfriend, whatever, But you have financial relationships too. If you got two
absolutely.
people working in the family, and I've heard a term on talk radio.
Yeah.
Financial infidelity.
Yes.
What exactly does that mean? What do we do to avoid that?
Well, there's kind of two ways to look at it. Certainly, there's some way where maybe you go off and buy something big that your spouse doesn't know about, and that can really start to hurt a relationship. And it's infidelity where it's like, well, it's just money. Maybe I just bought an Xbox or some new fishing equipment. It's not a huge deal, but when it comes to your money and your family, it could be a great deal, and it could mean a lot to the other person.
What is the threshold for that? I mean,
that's
if
a
you
good
go out to
question.
lunch, and that's no big deal. I guess. Hey, honey, went out to lunch with some people from work and spent a few bucks, and not a big deal.
Lunch isn't as big of a deal, but if you're looking at probably $300 or more, if you haven't talked about it with your spouse or with your family, that's going to be a big deal.
So you come home from work one day, there's a new car in the driveway.
Oh, yeah.
Or you've got a new bedroom set that you didn't know about.
You try to do the car commercial with a big red bow, and then your wife comes out, and she's like, "What did you do?"
Yeah.
What did you do? So when it comes to your relationships and money, there's not only that your spouse, but you've got to have money, and you got to deal with your kids. There's your friends and neighbors, and there's also yourself. How do you feel about money? How do you react with money with yourself as a relationship? And I found as a coach that when it comes to people wanting to change with their money, they don't usually change until they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You get to a point, maybe you haven't really bottomed out in a really bad sense, but at some point you're just, all right, I'm ready to change. And that's got to come from within. And and the second thing is you've got to believe that you can change, or you have to believe that the goal that you have or the process that you're working on is actually going to work. Because if you're just kind of haphazard and like, maybe I'll just try it out, you probably won't make it.
So, so I guess the first thing is you've got to change your relationship with money.
Yes,
yes,
with yourself. You've got to start to change your mind and to say, okay, well, whatever I'm doing right now isn't working.
And so you've got to commit to that change.
Yes, absolutely. And to say that, come hell or high water, I'm going to do something about this. And you've really got to decide, okay, we got to do something different now.
All right, and I know there's a third point, but we're going to have to learn more about that on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Dan Hines from Dan Hines Coaching, and we're talking about your family budget and financial infidelity.
Yes.
We talked about 2 points, and what were they again? Just a brief recap.
So the first point was when it comes to money and yourself, a lot of people don't really change until they're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
And the second point?
And the second is that when they are ready to change, you've also got to really believe that it's going to happen. You have to see yourself doing it. You have to know that, yes, it's going to take time, it's going to take energy, it's going to take effort, but it will happen.
So you have to commit to
You have to
that
commit
change.
to it, yeah.
And the third point?
And so the third point that we haven't talked about yet was when you do want to grow and you do want to change, is that we have a tendency to set unrealistic expectations for ourselves. I was talking with someone about their exercise goals for this year, and before January 1st, what they wanted to do was exercise every other day for the rest of the year. And I thought, okay,
that's a lot.
That's a lot. And that bar, you put it up here. That's not a really good thing to do. You're setting yourself up for failure.
Make something attainable.
Yes. So when I talk to my clients about budgeting and doing new things, what I have them do is say, okay, we're just going to take this 1 month at a time. We'll do one budget. We're going to live through the month, see what happens. Next month, we're going to have to change something because something is going to go wrong. It might not be your fault. It might be someone else's fault. But something's going to happen, and we're going to have to grow and change one day, 1 month at a time.
Now, Dan, these are just such useful tips for people, everyday people. You don't have to be a high roller to go see you.
No. Of course not, no.
Now, if people want to learn more, you're having an event soon,
Yes,
aren't you?
I'm going to have a free workshop here at the end of the month, so February 25th.
Free?
Yes, free.
Price is right.
It is a Wednesday, and it's going to be from 5:30 to 6:30. So far, I believe it's going to be on the Florida State campus here in Panama City, but be sure to like me on Facebook at Dan Hines Coaching, or you can go to my website, fixingfamilyfinances.com, and I'll have the information there as well.
So go to Dan Hines Coaching on Facebook.
Yes.
And you'll find out all about the event, and we can register there. It's free. And
Absolutely,
just
it's free.
show up
Just
or-
say, yes, you're coming. That way I know how much to print out, and we'll be ready to go.
Dan Hines, thanks so much for keeping us thrifty.
Very good.
And
Thanks,
coming
Don.
on the show. And we'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I am here with Heather Noyes from Raymond James Financial, and I'm going to get some tips from her today that might help me out with my quest to get to Europe again.
Oh, right.
Yeah, now I understand that the exchange rates are pretty favorable now.
Absolutely. It's basically a $1 to 89 cent euros, basically. So about a 10% discount to
That's
the
a
dollar.
little bit, yeah.
So, but previously it was like $1 to $1.50, so it was a significant. It's been a significant
We're
decrease
trending in the right direction.
Right.
For Europe,
You
it might
might
get
be-
even cheaper if we give it time.
Sure. Sure.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. Now, I plan on blowing my son's college fund on a European
And you
vacation.
should, I think.
And
as your financial wizard, you should.
as my
blow
financial
his-
wizard,
Yes.
how do I go? He's got a full scholarship.
Right.
We've got this little chunk of change there. Will I get any kind of punishment from the government for taking his money out and not using it for his education?
Well, it depends on which type of plan it is, because there's an education IRA and then there's also a 529 account. So if it's a 529 account, technically it's still your money. If it's an education IRA, it's the kid's money. So, but the 529, if you have it and now you're just going to cash it out, well, let me say this first. You can actually change the beneficiary from your son to maybe you want to go back to school, or maybe Karen wants to go back to school, or anything. So you could change it over like that. If you just want to cash it out, though, you're going to be paying a 10% penalty on the growth portion, as well as adding it to your income for the year.
So the principal will not be taxable,
Right.
but the growth portion that you've got over the years is going to be penalized by 10%. Okay, and then you've got to claim that, and it's going to be part of your income that
Correct.
year, so you'll get taxed on it. So it'll
Correct.
it'll have an effect on your adjusted gross income.
Absolutely.
Come tax time. No way around that, huh?
Right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, no.
Yeah, no. No, not really.
I'll tell you off
Yeah.
camera. No.
Put it in a shoebox in the backyard, you're better off. You know,
Right.
who was it? I think it was Little Richard. Somebody asked him for advice one time, and he says, take all your money and put it in a shoebox and bury it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't recommend that.
Yeah, Little Richard blew a lot of money in his day.
Yeah.
But he probably did not have a 529 or a
Or an
college fund.
estate plan.
Or an estate plan. Or a plan at all, for that matter.
Right.
You know? But back to the college fund. We talked before about you need to start saving right away. As soon as your child is born,
Right.
if you can do that, great. And I think we started with my son when he was in kindergarten, and we started with that Florida prepaid tuition plan.
Right.
And I think by the time he hit high school, he was fully funded and ready to go. Then he went and got a scholarship. So what do you do? I mean, do we just let that money sit there?
Now that one you can cash. I mean, you can cash that one out, and that one works a little bit different. It's still part of that Section 529 IRS code, but I don't think that there's necessarily. You're going to get back basically what you put into it, so there's not going to be a tax consequence for you if you cash
Will
that
there
out.
be any kind of interest?
No.
So it'll just be the principal getting back? Well, that's a
That's
crummy
why I like
investment.
the other 529
Yeah.
much better, to where
Yeah.
you're investing that money.
Even with the 10% penalty, it'd be, it'll be worth it, I suppose. So with the Florida prepaid, you just get out what you put in.
Right.
So why am I hanging out this money?
I don't know.
I'm going to Europe. That's all
Go
it
to
is.
Europe. Now's the good time.
Yeah, is it a
For
good
sure.
time? Is it a seasonal thing, or is it just because of the
Well, it's a
exchange
little bit
rates?
of both, but I think the
Yeah.
exchange rates are very favorable and,
Yeah.
to go if you
And that's
been
throughout
wanting
Europe.
to go.
Last time I was there, I remember being in Italy in 2001, and they were just transitioning to the euro, and they still had lira there, which was really cool because you go to a cash machine and get like 50,000 lira. I was like, I'm an Italian millionaire, and I didn't even know it. Look at all this lira, lots of zeros on the end. I guess when they went to the euro, they kind of blew all that. Now everybody's using the euro except for Britain, is that right? I think they're still on the pound there, because I know that was a really expensive place to visit. It may still be, I don't know.
I am
Because
totally.
if they're not using the euro, yeah, I think it
me off.
was. Okay, I won't
think
quote
it's-
you on that.
Yeah, don't quote me.
But I remember Canada used to be cheap too. Not so much anymore.
Not so much, yeah. Canada's definitely, the exchange rate is not as good
Yeah.
as what it is with Europe at this point.
Yeah.
So
Well, all sound advice. So
spend your kids' college now. Well, Well, there's also a
Just to recap.
proposed change to the existing 529s. Now, whether it'll go through or not, but the Obama has proposed that the 529s now, rather than being the growth is tax free when you use it for school, he's proposing that you have to pay taxes on that money now.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I hope that doesn't go through.
Where's the incentive to save for your kids' education if you're going to be taxed on it?
Exactly.
That's kind of crazy, I think. You know? I guess they got to pay for all the other free stuff somehow.
Right.
Anyway, not that kind of show. Heather Noyes, thanks so much for depressing me and giving us sound financial advice.
Right.
And when in doubt, see a financial advisor and call Heather Noyes at Raymond James Financial.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming on the show, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Laura Nelson, the lovely and vivacious Laura Nelson from A-List Accounting.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about your tax refund
Yes.
and things that could kill a tax refund.
Yes.
And we all want our refunds to stay alive.
Correct.
Some of us who are fortunate, I say us, some of you who are fortunate, who make a lot of money, have to pay.
Correct.
But a lot of people get refunds. About half of us, I think, get refunds.
Yeah.
Is that
Small
it? You know?
amount. Yeah. Maybe 2 checks worth. Kind of
But
income wise.
what are some of the things that could kill your refund?
Let's see. If you owe child support, are you
Oh.
back?
Yeah.
In terms of if you owe back child support, they can garnish your wages that way, or garnish your return. If you owe the IRS.
So if you're a dad who owes child support, not only can they garnish your wages, they can grab your refund.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Also,
So pay that child support, guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or women.
Or ladies, if you're in that situation. Which is odd, but it
Yes,
happens,
it
I
is.
guess. Unusual.
And then also, if you owe the IRS money, back taxes, or
Yeah.
if, say, you filed your return last year and you got a refund and then they analyze it and realize, oh, something you did wrong and you owe money, they'll take it then.
So if you did your own taxes
Yes.
and you miscalculated, and then you go to an expert like yourself and you calculate it properly, they can come back and say, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then also as well, if you owe on student loans, if you're behind on student loans,
If you're
over
defaulted
200,
or-
like 270 days.
Okay.
So once
Wow,
you get,
that's a long time.
yeah, and then they'll start taking it out of your return.
Wow. So and how do you avoid all that? I mean, pay your child support, I guess.
And
You
pay
know,
your student loans.
Don't do your own taxes. Be careful. I mean, people are deathly afraid. I had a friend of mine who got audited. This is
Right.
years ago. And he went down to the IRS. And he brought all his receipts. And he was a teacher. And he was a shop teacher. And one of the things he wrote off was a lab coat. He used to wear a work coat,
Right.
as
Right.
a shop teacher. And he saved every cleaning receipt he ever had. He kept scrupulous records.
Right.
They refigured his taxes and said, "Oh, sorry, sir, we owe you money.
Right.
We owe you more money." And he said, "Keep it. It's my donation to the IRS." It's like because he was afraid to take the money. So
Because they'll take it back or something.
he's like, "No, just put that toward the national debt." Whatever
Right,
it was.
right.
So you have to be very careful with the IRS. And,
Yes.
and it's a feared organization, for better or for worse. It's an instrument of public policy that we all have to deal with.
Correct.
So you have to be correct in your calculations. And if you're unsure, see an expert.
Yep, ask someone. And then also, too, the other thing is if someone steals your identity, and you won't know it until you submit it.
Well, you mean so somebody can steal your identity, file a return under your Social Security number,
Yes. Your
collect your
name.
return, and then you're out of luck.
Exactly.
What does the IRS do in it?
Well, usually the way it's working is they're filing under your name and your social, and they're using their income, because they're probably an illegal alien, and they're getting a return. So, but if you're due a return and they filed it before you did, you won't be able to get one.
Wow. And I know there's a brisk secondary market in stolen Social Security numbers and identities and all that stuff.
Yep.
And if they get your return, you're pretty much out of luck, then, I
Right,
suppose.
and it's a long, tedious process through the IRS, which anything government-wise is. It'll take time for you to get you'll have to have a special number that you'll then file with, not only with your social, but another number as well.
Wow. I mean, we don't want to kill our returns. Now, that's something you really have no
Right.
control over.
Right.
That will kill a return if somebody steals your identity. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing worse, I suppose. And if you've ever been a victim of any kind of fraud like that, and just anecdotally, I was several years ago, you know, somebody had emptied out my bank account.
Yep.
You know, they somehow got my
Information.
from a debit card or whatever.
Yep.
And I was pretty well screwed for about a month there.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Thank goodness my bank, you know,
Reimburses,
straightened it out,
yeah.
reimbursed it, they're
Yeah.
insured, FDIC,
Right.
and all that stuff. But still,
Yeah.
holy mackerel,
Yep.
you don't want to go through that. So
No.
protect your identity jealously, pay your bills, pay your student loans, pay your child support,
Yes.
and what else? And see a professional.
Yes.
Do it right.
That's
Be
right.
correct when dealing with the
Yeah.
IRS.
Yes.
Laura, now I'm scared. But anyway, thanks so much for those helpful tax tips.
You're
And
welcome.
remember, it's tax time. A-List Accounting. Give her a call. And we'll see you next time.